Welcome back to Dark Case Diaries, where depths comes to limelight. Walking home while black, a death that shouldn't have happened. The night was quiet, the kind of quiet that made you hear your own heartbeat if you stopped walking long enough. Malik Johnson adjusted his denim jacket and tightened his grip on the small grocery bag in his hand. He had done this walk hundreds of times, 3 blocks from the corner store to his grandmother's house. Normally, it felt routine, but that evening, something in the air felt heavier. Malik wasn't in a rush. At 19, he was a patient, calm soul, a young man who'd learned early that moving fast in a world that already judged him could be dangerous. He had dreams, becoming a teacher, helping kids who grew up like him avoid the mistakes that others made in their neighborhood. He didn't know that within the next 15 minutes, a decision, not his own, would change his life forever. Riverdale was a small town where everyone knew each other, but not everyone liked what they knew. There were 2 worlds that existed side by side: the old families that had been there for generations, and the newer families, mostly black and Latino, who had moved in during the last decade. Malik's grandmother, Miss Ruth, always told him, "Baby, people fear what they don't know. Don't give them a reason to fear you." Malik believed her. He dressed neatly, spoke respectfully, kept his head down, and stayed out of trouble. But deep down, he wondered, why should he have to shrink himself to make others comfortable? As Malik crossed Maple Street, a patrol car slowed beside him. The window rolled down, and Officer Trent, a man known for his short temper, called out, "Hey, you! What are you doing out here?" Malik turned slightly. "Just walking home, sir." Trent's eyes narrowed. "Got some ID?" Malik hesitated. He knew the rules: never reach too fast, never argue. "Yes, sir, it's in my wallet." He slowly set the grocery bag down and reached into his back pocket, narrating his every move just like his grandmother had taught him. But Trent's hand went to his holster. "Keep your hands where I can see 'em." Malik froze, hands up, heart pounding so hard it felt like his chest might crack. He'd done nothing wrong, but in that instant, he wasn't Malik Johnson, the quiet, respectful kid who helped his grandmother carry groceries. He was just another, suspicious figure, in someone else's eyes. "Sir," Malik said carefully, "I'm just getting my wallet. I live 2 blocks away." But Officer Trent stepped out of the car, tension radiating off him. "Step back. On the ground." Malik complied. He dropped to his knees, palms pressed to the cold pavement. A car passed, slowing briefly before speeding away, the driver not wanting to get involved. Trent's radio crackled. Another officer was on the way. Malik's mind raced. Why is this happening? "I didn't do anything." On a nearby porch, an older woman named Mrs. Carver watched everything unfold. She'd seen Malik walk by her house for years, always polite, always carrying something for Miss Ruth. She whispered to herself, "Lord, don't let this go wrong." She grabbed her phone and began recording. By the time backup arrived, Malik was lying face down, his groceries spilled, eggs cracked on the sidewalk, milk leaking into the gutter. Officer Trent muttered, "You fit the description of a robbery suspect." Malik said nothing. He knew arguing wouldn't help. Then came the mistake. Trent misinterpreted Malik adjusting his arm as resisting. In a flash of fear and adrenaline, Trent pulled his weapon. A gunshot echoed. For a moment, there was no sound, just the ringing echo of the gunshot. Malik lay still. Mrs. Carver gasped from her porch, her phone trembling in her hand. "Call an ambulance," she shouted, but her voice felt swallowed by the heavy night air. Officer Trent's face went pale. He hadn't expected to fire. Training videos flashed in his mind, but none of them prepared him for the reality of a 19-year-old boy bleeding on the street. By dawn, Riverdale was buzzing. Malik Johnson, the good kid, had been shot while unarmed. Miss Ruth collapsed when she heard, whispering over and over, "Not my baby! Not my baby!" The community gathered. Some were furious. Some were afraid. And some those who had never noticed Malik before suddenly had opinions about him, calling him a suspect, though no evidence showed that. Protests began. Signs read, "Justice for Malik," and "Walking home shouldn't be a crime." Yet others defended the officer. He was just doing his job. Malik's best friend, Andre, felt torn between grief and rage. "If we don't fight back, they'll keep doing this," he said. But Miss Ruth, though broken, said softly, "We fight, but we fight with dignity. Malik wouldn't want us to burn this town down." Malik wasn't gone, not yet. In the hospital, machines beeped steadily. He was in a coma, suspended between life and death. Nurses whispered about the boy who hadn't done anything wrong yet lay fighting for his life because someone had been afraid of him. In Malik's mind, memories blurred into dreams: his grandmother's laughter, his mother's lullabies, running barefoot in the summer grass. He wasn't ready to leave. He wanted to live. Trent sat alone in his kitchen, staring at his hands. They shook when he tried to drink his coffee. He had told himself for years that he was protecting the community, but now he couldn't stop seeing Malik's terrified eyes. His wife whispered, "You need a lawyer." But Trent said quietly, "I need to make this right, if there's any way to make this right." A town hall was called. Emotions were raw. "We are tired of our kids being treated like criminals," shouted one man. Others nodded, clapping. But Miss Ruth stood, frail yet steady. "I am Malik's grandmother," she said. "I want justice. But I also want peace. If we tear each other apart, my grandson's pain will mean nothing. We have to be better than this." Hospitals are places where time moves strangely. For Miss Ruth, each minute waiting for news about Malik felt like an hour. Family, neighbors, and church friends came in shifts. "Any updates?" someone would ask. "Still in surgery," a nurse would say. "He's strong, though. He's fighting." News vans circled Riverdale. Malik's face appeared on every channel, a smiling senior photo next to the headline, "Unarmed teen shot by officer." Some anchors emphasized his good grades, his volunteer work. Others speculated about possible gang ties, without evidence. Miss Ruth turned the TV off. "They don't know him," she said. "They never cared to know him." Against his attorney's advice, Officer Trent requested to speak publicly. "I made a terrible mistake," he said at a press conference. "I reacted out of fear, not fact. Malik Johnson did nothing wrong. I wish I could take it back." Some people were stunned. Others said it was too late. But Malik's grandmother whispered, "Maybe there's hope." Riverdale's streets stayed tense. Protests grew, but there were also candlelight vigils where people, black, white, young, old, stood side by side, holding signs that read, "Malik deserves to live." Andre, Malik's best friend, took the microphone one night. "Yeah, I'm angry. We're all angry. But burning this town down won't save him. We need to fight smarter than they expect us to." For the first time, even those who didn't know Malik began to listen. Malik floated in a dreamlike space. He saw himself as a little boy, holding his mother's hand. She smiled, telling him, "You're not done yet, baby. Go back. There's more for you to do." He wanted to open his eyes, to tell his grandmother not to cry, but the weight of unconsciousness pulled at him. Miss Ruth surprised everyone when she asked to meet Officer Trent privately. "You shot my grandson," she said, voice steady but firm. "I should hate you. Everyone tells me I should. But hate won't heal him. It won't heal this town. What are you willing to do to make this right?" Trent stared at the floor. "Anything. I'll resign. I'll face charges. I'll do whatever it takes." The town gathered at the courthouse. The district attorney announced that Officer Trent would face charges for reckless endangerment and use of excessive force. Some in the crowd cheered. Others said it wasn't enough. Miss Ruth kept her hands folded. She whispered, "Justice, not revenge." After weeks of silence, Malik's fingers twitched. A nurse rushed in. His eyelids fluttered open. The first thing he whispered was, "Grandma." Miss Ruth cried openly for the first time since the shooting. "Baby, you're still here." The bullet had damaged muscle in Malik's leg. He faced months of therapy. At first, frustration consumed him. "I didn't do anything wrong," he told his therapist. "Why do I have to fight just to walk again?" The therapist replied softly, "Because you still have a life to live. Make it mean something." When Malik was strong enough, Miss Ruth wheeled him to a community meeting. Cameras flashed. People whispered. Some were relieved to see him alive. Others looked away, ashamed at how quickly they had judged him. Malik cleared his throat. I was just walking home. That's all. I don't want anyone else to go through what I did. I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to ask, can we make this place safer for everyone? The room went silent. Even Officer Trent's supporters couldn't argue with the boy in the wheelchair asking for peace rather than punishment. Trent attended therapy under court order. For the first time, he admitted, "I never realized how much fear I carried every day on the job. I saw danger where there wasn't any. I need to change, not just to avoid prison, but because I don't want to be that man anymore." His lawyer warned him, "Admitting too much could hurt your case." Trent replied, "If I don't admit it, I'll never become better." Malik's physical therapy was grueling. Each step hurt, but each one also felt like reclaiming something. The therapist reminded him, "Every time you stand, you're telling the world you're more than what happened to you." He started documenting his progress online. People from all over sent messages, "You inspire me. I'm teaching my son about patience because of you." The protests evolved into organized forums. Citizens demanded new training for officers, body cameras, and youth programs. For the first time, Riverdale's council actually listened. Miss Ruth reminded them, "This isn't just about my grandson. It's about every child who deserves to walk home safely." Reporters wanted interviews. Activists wanted him to speak at rallies in larger cities. He hesitated. "I just wanted to be a teacher," Malik told Andre. Andre said, "Maybe you can do both, teach, and use your story to help people understand." Malik requested to meet Trent face to face. The guards were tense when the former officer entered the small room. "I don't forgive what you did," Malik said. "But I don't want to carry hate forever either. I need to know, are you actually changing, or just saying you are?" Trent looked him in the eye. "I'm changing. Not for a reduced sentence. For me. For the people I hurt." Malik nodded. "Then do it. For real." Months later, Trent's trial concluded. He was sentenced to prison time and mandatory rehabilitation programs. The courtroom was tense, but Malik spoke during sentencing. "I don't want him to suffer the way I did. I want him to come out of prison better than he went in. That's the only way this means anything." The judge noted Malik's statement as extraordinary. Malik graduated physical therapy and began college courses in education. He also started speaking at schools about patience, fear, and forgiveness. One student asked, "Aren't you mad at him still?" Malik paused. "Some days, yes. But if I stay mad forever, he still controls my life. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to move forward." Within a year, Riverdale police adopted reforms, de-escalation training, community ride-alongs, and citizen review boards. People noticed the difference. Kids walked home without constant fear. Miss Ruth smiled one evening and said, "Baby, you turned something terrible into something good. That's strength." Malik received invitations to speak nationally. Larger cities wanted to hear from the young man who survived and chose forgiveness instead of violence. Standing before a packed auditorium, he said, "I'm not special. I was scared, I was hurt, and I was angry. But someone has to decide when the cycle stops. I decided." Trent began writing Malik letters, not asking for sympathy, but sharing what he was learning. "I'm finally facing my biases. I'm seeing the people I once feared as human. I wish I had understood this years ago." Malik didn't reply at first but kept each letter. Riverdale felt different. Neighbors greeted each other more. There were community events that had never existed before. Even Mrs. Carver, the woman who filmed the shooting, became close to Miss Ruth. She said quietly, "I thought recording that video was the only thing I could do. But maybe I can do more." 1 year later, Malik walked, without crutches, past the exact spot where he was shot. His heart pounded, but he kept moving. Andre walked beside him. "You good?" Andre asked. Malik nodded. "Yeah. This is just a street now. Not my nightmare anymore." Malik began writing his story. Not just about the shooting, but about growing up, his grandmother's wisdom, and the lessons he learned about fear, anger, and patience. The title, Walking Home While Black, A Journey Toward Forgiveness. Miss Ruth finally visited the cemetery where Malik's mother rested. She brought Malik along. "She'd be proud of you," Miss Ruth whispered. Malik said softly, "I hope so. I'm trying to live the life she wanted for me." 2 years after the shooting, Trent was released from prison. Before leaving, he sent Malik one last letter. "I don't expect friendship. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know I am not the same man who pulled that trigger. If my story can stop even one officer from doing what I did, then maybe something good came from this." Malik read it twice, then placed it in the same box as the others. He didn't reply, but he smiled faintly. Malik started teaching at a local high school. His first day, a student lingered after class. "Mr. Johnson," the boy said, "people say you almost died. Is that true?" Malik nodded. "Yeah. But I lived. And that's what matters." Walking home that evening, Malik looked up at the sunset over Riverdale. The same streets that once held fear now held possibility. He whispered to himself, "I'm still walking home. And I'm free." This is Dark Case Diaries, where deep are shared. View, like, share and comment. See you next time.